it's Jin, and you're watching Cooking with Jin. On today's fabulous, tasty, delicious, mouth-watering menu, we've got spring minestrone soup with a fresh pesto. We have a spinach and apple salad with a honey Dijon vinaigrette. And we've got Jin's blueberry lavender oatmeal cookie bars. Stay tuned because you definitely want to watch. Before we get started on the soup, we're going to start with our basil pesto. This is going to give us some extra spicy flavor. So it's very simple. We're going to start out with some pine nuts. You can also use walnuts. This is about a half a cup. We are going to have a half a cup of cheese. And basil is very important for pesto. That's like the most important ingredient. And I put some Parmesan cheese in there if I didn't say that before. So we're just gonna pull off the leaves off of our sprigs and just stuff it right in there. I'm doing about 2 cups. I'm eyeballing it, you know? I don't really measure too many things, as you can see. With cooking, you don't have to measure every single little thing. You can add it, put whatever you want inside of your dish based on your taste. So I think we're good. We can even put a little bit of the stalks in there as well. It's quite all right. So we've got our basil. We're gonna add a little bit of salt and pepper. Freshly cracked pepper. And then we're gonna add 3 cloves of garlic. I'm just gonna smash them really quickly and roughly chop them because I wanna make sure that the garlic is evenly distributed throughout the pesto. So if I roughly chop it at first, it'll have more pieces to distribute throughout the whole pesto. So just peel off the skin really quickly, quick run through of the garlic, and then I'm gonna sprinkle it on the top here. And we're going to start the food processor and slowly drizzle our olive oil. Looking good, smelling good. Crew, can you smell that? Yes. Oh yeah. All right, so I'm gonna just put about a half a cup of olive oil in there. And Lawrence, you should zoom on in. Does that look good? Looking really good, right? Nice and smooth. And here we have our beautiful basil pesto. So we're gonna go ahead and get started with our minestrone soup. Now, you can make this any way you want. You can put whatever's in your cupboard, whatever's in the fridge to make this amazing soup. This is a very quick version of the classic long cooking Italian soup. So what we're gonna do today is cook everything really fast. We're gonna chop up some arugula, some dandelion greens. We've got some asparagus, some scallions, some potatoes, chickpeas, artichoke hearts, some green peas, some canned tomato, and we're gonna put some stock with a little bit of water. I just wanna put a little bit of stock to add a little bit of flavor, and the water's just gonna kind of thin it out a little, okay? Because you can do this with just plain water, you could do this with just plain stock, but we're gonna do a mix-up. Then I'll season it up with some salt and pepper. So first things first, we're gonna chop up some garlic and get it into the pot with a little bit of olive oil. Then we're gonna add our potatoes, and we're gonna cook it up and start adding all the different layers. This is a layers game. You don't put everything in at once. You give everything a couple of minutes to cook, and then you add on the next layer. So let's get started. First, I'm gonna smash some garlic. I love garlic. I'm gonna put 4 cloves in because I wanna have that extra garlicky flavor. Now, don't forget, I did make this amazing pesto that's gonna go in. It does have a nice strong garlic flavor, but I wanna start off the base of the dish with a nice little garlicky olive oil to start. Okay, so we've got some potatoes chopped. We've got the spring onions separated, so I wanted the leafy tops chopped and separately put in later on, and then the bottoms are chopped up and they're going to go in right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn our pot on and add a little bit of olive oil and start cooking down our garlic, onions, and potatoes. So I'm going to go ahead and add our garlic to the pot. We're going to add the bottoms of the onions. And at this point, I always like to add a little bit of salt and pepper. So now I'm going to go ahead and add the potatoes. And we're going to give that a few seconds. And then we're going to add some of the asparagus. So I'm going to go ahead and add our asparagus. We're going to add our tomatoes. That garlic is smelling so good already. Look at that. Lawrence, you catching this beauty?
Yes, I am.
Oh, yes. So now I'm going to go ahead and add a can of vegetable stock, low sodium. And then I'm going to probably add maybe about 3 more cups of water or more until it looks good to me. And that looks good to me. And I'm going to add a little bit more salt and pepper to season this up because we just add a bunch of water and a whole bunch of new vegetables. So I want to make sure that everything is well seasoned. We're going to give this another 8 minutes to simmer, and then we're going to add the remaining ingredients for a delicious minestrone soup. Just chopped up some artichokes. These were from the can, and I just wanted to give them a smaller bite-sized piece so it can be in everyone's spoonful when they're eating their soup. This is going to be added to our soup in about 5 minutes or so. So our soup is almost there. We're at the halfway point. So now we're at a simmer, and it smells good. Right, guys?
Yes.
Now we're going to add our artichokes to the pot. We're going to add some chickpeas. And I'm going to put a little bit more salt and pepper in there because I want to make sure that this is nice and flavorful. The more layers I put in, the better and better it smells. Ain't that right?
That's true.
Amen. All right, so we're going to give this about 3 minutes to simmer. And then we're going to add our greens at the end. Now we've got our dandelion greens and our arugula, which are going to add a nice bitter and peppery flavor to our soup. We've got our green peas, the ends of our scallions, and then the finishing touch, some basil pesto. So this is looking like it's ready to go. Right, Lawrence?
Yep.
All right. So let's go ahead and add our peas to the pot. Add the scallions. And let's do another cracker pepper. This is going to be a nice hearty soup. Look at all the different colors and veggies. It's gorgeous. Love this. All right, now is the final touch. Actually, before I add the greens, because we want to be careful when we add the greens because they can wilt very quickly, and we don't want them to be soggy and brown in our soup. We want them to be as fresh as possible. So I'm going to go ahead and add about a spoonful of this pesto, and watch this color. Oh my gosh, look at that beauty. It smells so good, and it looks so beautiful. I think I'm gonna do one more scoop because you can't go wrong with pesto. I don't think. Can you?
Nope.
I don't think so. All right. We'll give this another minute. Oh, look at that. Makes me want to dance. All right. Now, I think I'm just gonna go ahead with the greens. I just can't wait any longer. So I'm gonna add the dandelion greens first. And then top it off with our arugula. And folks, here we have our minestrone spring soup. We always have to have a little bit of a salad with our soup, right? I think so. So we're gonna make a really quick apple and spinach salad with a honey Dijon vinaigrette. So what do we need? We're gonna get some spinach here. We've got some apples, a little bit of walnuts to sprinkle on the top. We've got some Dijon mustard, vinegar, honey, and some olive oil, salt and pepper. This is all we're gonna need for this recipe. So first thing, I'm just gonna pour our spinach in this bowl. And then I'm going to slice up an apple really quickly. We're gonna do it with the skin. This is organic, so it's totally fine. I usually just cut my apple in quarters. And instead of getting a fancy little apple core, I just kind of take my knife and just go down the center, like so. And then I'm just gonna do a nice thin slice of my apples. You can put as many apples as you want. You can also use Granny Smith tart apples. You can use any apple you want. Your favorite apples will do just fine in this dish. Sprinkle that on. And now we'll make a quick honey Dijon vinaigrette. All you need is a jar, some olive oil. Look at that. I'm gonna add some vinegar. We're gonna scoop in some locally sourced honey. And then some Dijon mustard for a little kick. Some salt and pepper. And then we'll put the lid on our jar. Shake it up. And now we have this gorgeous vinaigrette. We'll pour a little bit on the top of our salad. We can use our spoon to toss it a little. And sprinkle some walnuts on the top. There we go. Gorgeous. Yummy. Nom 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 nom. Our soup and salad is ready to go. One more finishing touch. Just gonna put some freshly grated Parmesan on the top of this lovely soup. And it's smelling good up in here. All right, so let's start with the soup. It's nice and warm. Let's see how this is. Let's see if this is good. Hold on. Thank you, Lord, for giving me the talent to put this soup together today. This is so good. Okay. Let me stop. Next thing, salad. This honey Dijon vinaigrette, a little bit of apple. Jesus! This is good. This is some good stuff, guys. I wish you were here. Crew, you guys ready to take a lunch break?
Yeah.
We're taking a lunch break. We'll be back with dessert. It's time for dessert. The crew and I sat down and gobbled down all that soup and salad, and now we're ready for dessert, right?
Yes.
So, what we're gonna make today is Jin's, that's me, blueberry lavender oatmeal cookie bars. And we're gonna use my line of jam and jellies. So this is our very popular blueberry lavender jam. We're gonna use this in cookies, but this is really great on a piece of toast with some goat cheese, in your ice cream, in your yogurt, all kinds of things, even cocktails. A little bit of rum and club soda, and you will feel really good with this. So, moving on to dessert. So this is a very simple dessert. All we're gonna do is make a little crumble base with some oatmeal, flour, some light brown sugar, a little bit of salt, baking soda, vanilla, and butter. We're gonna put all these ingredients together in a bowl, crumble them up, and then press them down into this sheet pan. We're gonna top it with some blueberry lavender jam and sprinkle some more crumble on top. Pop it in the oven, and it's gonna be good to go. So let's get started. Let's go ahead and get started. We're gonna add our oatmeal, flour, some of the sugar, all of the sugar, a pinch of salt, baking soda, and before I add the vanilla, I'm just gonna mix this up a little bit with my hands. Okay, then I'm gonna add the butter, softened, and just get all that in there. Toss it up. Don't be afraid to use your hands and get dirty. You can also use a pastry cutter to get through this, but I like to use my hands when I make dessert. I want to put all the love in it for my crew. All right, we're almost there. Butter is nicely incorporated there and all over my fingers. Totally fine. This is a great recipe to do with your kids, because kids love to get dirty and get their hands all in it. So this would be nice and fun. Okay. So I'm just gonna grab a little bit of Jin's vanilla bean extract in there. Toss it a little more. And I'm going to clean my hands. I'm gonna butter this dish, and I'll show you the next step. All right, I just buttered my dish. This is some parchment paper with some butter on top to make sure that our cookie doesn't stick. So the next step is you get a handful of your oatmeal crumble and spread it out on the bottom of your pan. You can press it down into the pan to make it nice and flat and solid to stick together. You want to spread it throughout the whole bottom. You can use any kind of jam, preferably Jin's jams and jellies, to make this dessert. You can use your favorite flavors. And what's gonna happen is we're gonna put the blueberry lavender jam on top. We're gonna spread it on top, and then we're gonna spread the remainder of this oatmeal crumble on top. We'll stick it in the oven for about 30 minutes. And then we're gonna get a nice little sheet of oatmeal crumble cookie bars. What a mouthful. Let's get a little bit more. sure that it's nice and packed. Okay. We'll go ahead and grab our jam, and we'll just spread it on the top. You can use a whole jar. Nice little thin layer. Other jams that I have, peach mint jam, or my strawberry raspberry basil jam. Even the blackberry tarragon would be great for this cookie bar. I would say go to my website, www.jinsjamsjellies.com, to find out about more of the flavors that we have. We also make membrillo, which would also be fantastic on this. Okay, so I think that's quite enough there. I'm going to sprinkle the remainder of my cookie crumble. And then I'm just gonna press it in to the jam and put it in the oven at 350 for about 30 minutes. And this will be great. All right, so we'll give that 30 minutes. In the meantime, I'll clean up. So I'll be right back. So here we are at the grand finale. We just took our cookie out of the oven, and now I'm going to go ahead and slice it up and go and taste it for you all on camera. This is going to be oh so good. Look at that. Let me make this pretty for you, and I'll be right back. I figured I should put a little bit of powdered sugar on these. That wraps our show. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. I'm about to taste this dessert for you, but before I go, I just want to let you know to go online, go on Twitter, Facebook, at JinsJourney, and send me any comments, any messages. Let me know what you want me to cook. Talk to me. I'll talk to you back. Use hashtag #CookingWithJin, and let's get to chatting. So let me taste this delicious Jin's Blueberry Lavender Oatmeal Cookie Bars. Look at that. Crew, are you guys ready to eat this? Yeah! All right, guys, I gotta go. Till next time, peace.